spiritual leaders. The world has seen them as, the world sees that they are meant to do service, they are meant to take care. That is a very degraded. The age of Kali is coming because we just don't need wars. We need wars with a purpose, and that battle has to be first. My sister who's in India. It was late night in India, and I just had this urge to text her right now. And she texted me right back. I'm in the hospital. My husband just had a heart attack. And she was thinking of me right then. She was thinking, I just need to speak to her.
This piece of poetry is an excerpt from the book Voice of Kali, a book written by Ekta Bajaj, the owner of a successful publishing company in UK, and also a devotee of Goddess Kali. Beauty of a woman. What is the beauty of a woman? What makes a woman beautiful? Her resilience, her inner strength, her wolf-like protective nature towards her offspring, her randomness, her childlike curiosity over matters which her soul has mastered eternally, her grace, her poise, in the most chaotic times, her humbleness, her willingness to share wisdom and love, her fire, her inner warrior. Not that women have no right to beautify their body, but just as Kali radiates her femininity with pride of being who she is, every woman must also attain respect for the vessel her soul has chosen. There's a little line in the bottom. Kali is constantly teaching every woman to find within her the timeless beauty of intuitive inner strength that needs no outer validation. So beautiful. I think that should be a good enough intro for our today's guest, Ekta Bajaj, on Navaratri series Antaraag, brings you Loving Kali. Enjoy the podcast. So, welcome to Antaraag Navrat series, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Bharat. Thank you for having me.
I would like to start on this note to actually bring up everybody who's listening to this podcast right now to speed. We started this Navratri series with a person who's an international meditation teacher. So she brought this to our light that the 9 forms of goddess are actually more than just beings. They're actually energy forms as well. So she said how the first form is about Drid Sankalp, Shailaputri, is about having absolute, taking up that power we all have within ourselves to take a commitment to move forward. And then the second form, Brahmacharini, is about being distraction free. Right? After we take up a commitment, we have that state of mind where we get distracted. It's okay, I'll do it later. But no, having the strong resolve and consistently taking it forward, the continuity of the resolve, where we say, okay, there are going to be no distractions and I'm just going to walk towards my goal. Then the second person who came on board is the 4th generation of the oldest yoga school in India. So that was a yogic perspective. And that's why our tradition is so beautiful, because it's incredibly vast in terms of point of views and ideas. So this person said that not a disagreement, but I differ. More than that, these are also states of mind. These are also states of our consciousness, and these are achievable states of consciousness if we celebrate them and if we honor them. Then this person changed that whole thing, and they said the third form, Chandraghanta, 4th form, Kushmanda, is actually Prana Shakti, what we call Chi in Chinese tradition. That power of the consciousness, the prana shakti inside us. Some people say it's electrical energy, some people say it's not that, it's spiritual energy. There are a lot of discussions about that, but essentially the word prana shakti. So evoking that is that form. Then a tantric came on the podcast and he deferred to the first two. And he said, that's great, but the Chandraghanta form is actually more about the technique to remove, or the tantra, the technique to remove negative thoughts, which is what the story is about. The bats that Ma Chandraghanta with a bell, she shoos away. So the idea is negative thoughts, doubts, worries. The technique to shoo them away with the positive energy. On the path, on the same path, after resolve, distraction free, this is prana shakti, and also shooing away the negative thoughts. And then this person also said Skanda Mata is that guiding energy which we need midway in our journey after we take a resolve. That's why it's a fifth day. The guiding light, the guiding energy that actually takes us forward. And for Katyayani, we actually had a theologist, an Indologist who came on the podcast, who didn't come from Tantra, religion, or any of these point of views, who said, Bharat, I'm not going to talk about anything which is not demonstrative or evidence-based. He said, he gave an entire history of Navaratri, how he said that this used to be called Durgaratri, like 1,000 years ago. And there's a whole lineage. There were a lot of Shakti traditions, Shakti paths, Shakti times where Shakti was actually celebrated. So he shared that knowledge. And finally, he gave his version and his understanding of Katyayani. But why today's podcast is super special compared to all those other podcasts is because of what Kabir Das said, which is Dhai Akshar Prem ke. 2.5, I gotta go show this. Dhai Akshar Prem ke. Somebody who understands just that much is bigger than any Pandit out there. That's why I'm so happy to know that today I would have a bhakti point of view, right? Somebody who's devoted to one of the forms, and compared to somebody who's studying the culture or studying the technique or studying the poses, somebody who's actually lived the form, somebody who's actually, somebody who does puja every day, somebody who's devoted, talks to the form, has a connection and has a relationship with the form. So that's why I'm so happy to take Kalaratri or Kali, one of the most fierce yet compassionate, justice-oriented, and I think one of the most mysterious, because there are so many stories around Kalaratri, right? With you, somebody who's such a deep devotee, and you've written your book on Ma Kali, and it just fills my heart. That's beautiful. So, welcome to Antaraag Navaratri series.
My God, you've given such an elaborate description, and thank you so much. Hearing about how much how many perspectives you have seen in the past couple of days while interviewing others, it is just the beauty of Sanatan Dharma that everyone sees what they see according to their spiritual journey. So I honor and respect everyone's point of view. I don't think so there is anything right or wrong in this spiritual journey. Kali for me it's a very special connection. You said that I do it from a bhakti point of view, which is an honor for me, and it's an honor to speak about her as well. But I'm not ritualistic. I may be one of those people who just see Kali as a very close friend. Sometimes she comes as mother, mostly as a friend, and I think it's an energy within me and within each one of us, and that's how I see Kali. It is our most empowered mindset within us. I understand that there is a form of Kali which can be scary, but I'll just go back to taking you back to where my journey of Kali started from. So usually people read about Kali and then the bhakti comes and then they go deep into the experiences. In my case, the reverse happened. I had the experience, I denied the experience, and then came the devotion, surrender, and then came the knowing. I didn't know anything about Kali, I'd not read about her. And then came the acceptance, and then came the bhakti. So it's a reversal. So I believe that spiritual journey and especially Devi's energy, the one, if it wants to connect to you, it connects to you in whatever form it wants to, in whatever stage, and however you want to interpret it, it's your own. Some people are very connected to her form, which may be right because at their spiritual path, that may be right. But some may, like me, I'm connected to her. I connected to her form after I connected to her on an energy basis. So for me, that connection is more stronger. That spiritual inner connection with her is more stronger. And that's why I could understand her form. Otherwise, her form was very scary for me. But now that I understand her spiritually and energetically, I see the compassion, the love that the form has, the empowered message that the form is giving us. So that for me is very special. So that is Kali for me. And yes, the voice of Kali is the title of my book, The Voice of Kali, is for me the voice of everyone within us that speaks without fear, that speaks the truth, and that speaks without any without any hindrances of that they have created on their own. Of what if the world will say this? What if that? So there are no what ifs in that voice. There is just one honest truth, and that is for me, Kali.
I would like to add a story and then ask you the second question that I was leading to. Is So there are two parallels I would like to draw. The first one is I started this entire series with the title, and we actually have a project title, right? When we start working on projects, so we created this project title in Premiere Pro. That's a tool we use for editing, and we called it Decoding Navaratri. So my team asked me that what should we call it? So I said Decoding Navaratri, of course. So we'll take up experts from different cultures and paths of this, and then we'll decode Navaratri. We'll try to understand what it is. Now the beauty of this is, day one it started pretty clean. We took and we took a person on board who said that I don't believe in there being a being. I just believe that it's an energy form. It's not a being. So we started on that note, actually decoding Navaratri. But by the third day, I lost my mind. I had no. I called my mentor and I said that इसका कोई सर पैर नहीं है. You cannot understand this. Let me just give you one example of what that means. What it means is that if somebody teaches you on day one that this is sine theta cos theta, day two somebody says that it's not sine theta, you're reading it wrong. It's actually sin. Day three somebody comes and says that no, theta doesn't exist there at all. It's actually just sin and cos. And then somebody comes on day four and says that no, there's no sine cos at all. Everything is vibration. So it's pretty much what happened in the first 4 days, because somebody said that this is our energy forms. Second day, somebody said, no, these are not energy forms. These are states of mind, consciousness that you can achieve. And all of them are very different from each other, all those point of views. And then third day, somebody else came and said, no, this is not state of mind. This is pure technique. Each deity represents a technique that you can achieve. So I remember on day 3, I just sat like this. That podcast was released before this, so everybody who's listening can go and take a reference. I just sat like this towards the end because I had that moment where my brain was not braining, according to current terms. I just froze like this and my eyes were like this, and this whole art part was frozen because it processed so much, because a podcast becomes so intense. It processed so much that in 3 days I lost it, and I had that feeling of everything just collapsing. So that was day 3. Then day 4, very funnily, we decided to re-edit the entire thing, and I asked everybody, guys, change the title. No more decoding Navaratri. We'll call it celebrating Navaratri. Let's just keep it that. I don't think this stuff you can decode. Anybody can decode. It's too deep to decode. So we call it celebrating Navaratri. We did that, and the next 2 podcasts, day 4, 5, 6, were 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6 were 4, 5, 6 basically were done from that point of view, celebrating Navaratri. Let's just celebrate it. Let's not decode it. Finally, day 7, that is this podcast, I have finally come to loving Navaratri. That's why I said I'm so happy to start with, Bhakta point of view, because in my 7 days have also been a journey of going from decoding to celebrating to now just loving.
You are actually you are actually undergoing the journey which each one of us must undergo during these Navratri days. I mean, these are such powerful 9 days, and people just think that what's in these 9 days that's not in other days. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know the science behind it, but I do know that there is a certain energy that is so powerful. And for us, it is a chance to just go one layer. Just it's just like imagine these nine potent mindsets within us or waves within us. So just going one layer at a time. There is a in Vedanta, you know Vedanta, there is a
Yeah.
seeker's seven steps, samadhama, samadhana,
Hmm.
titiksha.
Hmm.
We are going through those seven steps during these 9 days.
Hmm.
And when by the time we come to Kali, that mindset is open within us where we are ready to now go into our deepest, darkest corners, face our fears, face whatever we've been shoving under the carpet. Because by before this, we have had that journey of being calm, of resolving, just staying in that path, of all those forms of ma have given us that little have created that base for Kali to enter, that mindset to enter within us. And by this day, this energy is telling us that's it, now you're ready, so go into that deepest, darkest corner of your life, go into the darkness within yourself, accept that there is something that is not working right, see life as it is, because we always make all these excuses. This is not this happening right in my life because this person is not talking to me nicely because of some excuse. But then Kali comes and then she says, no, see truth just as it is. If someone is not talking to you, is humiliating you, see what is the reason behind it, go into the root of that cause, find the root of that reason why you are being humiliated again, the reason why you're being failed again and
Yeah.
again, and then find your path, your light from there. So this day for us is very special to move on before Devi comes, before we move on to the end of Navaratri, because this is the time, this is the day when Kali is there, when Kal Ratri comes. That is the day when you're ready to transform, when you say, that's it. I understand there must be something wrong, something is not going right, and I accept it, and I'm ready to move on from here.
You know, also our tradition, what I understood in last 7 days of this intensive, now 10 days in terms of total editing and capturing, 12 days, intensive thing, intense understanding learning from different experts. One thing I understood is that our culture is made in such a way, I don't know by who, that you cannot understand it, any of these forms. So, but it encourages us to understand. Like it encourages you to understand it, but then you can't understand it. So once, yeah. So when we try to understand it and then we fail, then we ourselves learn that we can't understand it. And the only thing we can do is love. We can love it, but we can't understand it. So I'm asking this question because I'm connecting this to, as I said, two parallels. So the second parallel is also that my mother is today's stories, right? Today I'm not in, I don't have any weight of questions or trying to understand, decode and figure out. Today is just stories. So my mother is a big Shiva Bhakta. Like she's one of the biggest I've seen in my life in terms of not in terms of course how great she is, not but just in terms of how she is. So on what is this day called Pradosha, right? On Pradosha days, what she does is after she does the whole fast and everything, she sort of sits outside the temple room. So one day I just went to her and I said, "Why are you sitting outside?" And she's like sitting like this and she's just waiting, right? She's just looking at the clock. So I was like, "Why are you sitting?" So she's like, "Yeah, because God is of course having food inside." So I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, you know, let's go for a walk. So she's like, so yeah. So, but in her case, so the reason I'm saying that is because in her case, I've always seen her like that. She's she's that like she's like that. So she just loves that form Shiva. So but she's very ritualistic, as I was saying. So forms. She has like, oh my god, every morning she goes through like an hour of rituals. She puts every flower has to be perfect and picked out, and everything has to be perfectly done, and it's like that. So, and when I moved out of my house, she taught me the same thing. She said, if you're doing puja, there are so many hundreds of things to do in puja. So it takes like an hour to do puja, right? So you do this, and then you do puja. So, and that's how she does. That's great. So I thought, yeah, fine. If you're doing it right, do it right. So when I moved out, I started doing this in the morning. I would pick out the flowers, fresh flowers. There are conditions for that. You got to clean the whole thing. You got to keep the flowers right. You got to do all this. So I did that for a while. And then eventually, of course, there was no time because I get up late. I have to rush to office. So I'm like, okay, I got to miss puja today because I can't do this right. So let's not do it. So I go out. So my brother, he follows Vipassana, which is a Buddhist path, and he never believed. He's not a much of a believer. He's not that kind of person. This happened that he had a powerful experience in a temple, and he changed. He transformed. He had a realization one day, an epiphany, that there are beings, and you can connect to those beings. So he started believing in Ma Shakti because his mother. Maybe that's the reason. His mother is a big devotee. So he okay. One day, so, and you also know that in our room, in our temple, when we do the puja, when we do the puja, we slowly start feeling the energy in the temple room. I don't know how that happens, but that energy starts cultivating. My energy had died down because in my house, I was not barely doing it. I went to his house, and in his drawing room, it's full of light. It's sparkling. And I was like, wow, so much energy. Like, I feel a difference. Like, I walked into a temple, that kind of a feeling. I was like, that's crazy. I just felt that's such a strong energy. I was like, it was night. We had come back. We roamed around the city and then we came back. I said, okay, you go. I'll just come. So I just sat there and I meditated. It's such a deep peace. It's like, wow, this guy's done something right, clearly. I went and we were chilling in his room. Then I asked him, listen, are you doing some puja or something? He's like, yeah, nowadays I just love God. So every morning when I get up, and he sleeps in his boxes. I'm so sorry, brother, you're listening to this. He's like, I get up and first thing I do before even brushing my teeth is I go and I light the lamp and I sit there for 20 minutes and I do puja. I was like, dude, you don't even take a bath before you do that. He's like, no, I don't. I don't even brush my teeth. I just do this. So that was a game changer for me personally because on one side, rituals are great, but here is a person who doesn't even take a bath and probably doesn't even brush his teeth. He just goes and does that and he sits there for 20 minutes and he sits there and his house is full of energy because his love. So, so my question now is Kali is such a fierce form in our culture. And I don't want to go from the point of view of understanding Kali anymore. What makes you, or what has been your journey of loving such a form, which is to look at so fierce, tongue out, and it's so fierce. And and since Kali is such a loving form, why do you think Kali has taken a fierce form? A loving person would be, yeah.
Kali is the most loving energy. My childhood, I'm not kidding this. Whenever we used to go to temple, I used to avoid going to Kali's temple. I used to be so scared. I was like, if I see this God, I'll be very scared. It will haunt me. So that was my thing. But then experience happened when I was about 24 of age. And that completely changed my whole energy about Kali. And then after a couple of years of denying that it happened, um, after about 10 years, when I started reading about her, when I surrendered to her, okay, what is this? What is this energy that's calling me? You're not, you don't look fierce. When I think of you now, you don't feel fierce. There is something behind that form that I see. And I want to know that form. That energy is what I want to know. And the more I connected to her with a lot of love that he's saying, I completely surrendered with love. I understood that she was fierce because she has tough love. So she's not going to do all those pampering with you that, oh, come on, my, it's going to be okay. She will tell you, this is not right. This is not working, but I'm going to help you get there where you want to be. What is your potential? I'm going to take you there. Are you ready to go on this ride with me? If you are, hold my hand and trust me. All she's asking is trust. So she's like that kind of a leader who knows what's your potential, and she is going to grab you from that place where you've been stuck because you're scared, because you think, I can't move on from here. I can't. probably take this is too big for me. And she says, no, come on, nothing is too big for you. You're the best, you're the most empowered self. What's your dream? Tell me what your dream is. And then she's going to grab you from there. So that form, that fierceness that you see is the fierceness she's trying to evoke within you, because we are not fierce enough in our life, and we are always trying to give ourselves excuses for not moving ahead. So that fierceness, once you understand why she's doing that, there is so much love that you feel. She's the most loving energy. She'll just not leave your hand. Once Kali's energy connects with you, life is going to go through a chaos. It's going to go through a deep chaos. But then within that chaos, whatever's not working with you, whatever's not right for you will just go away. And that's what she does. She just keeps on holding your hand. She doesn't leave you. That's the energy of Kali. You got to trust. You've got to have a lot of love in your heart, because when you invoke the energy of Kali, a lot of anger also comes. But then within that anger, you have to have that love for yourself, that I have this, not for others. You have to have that love for yourself, that I want to reach my highest potential. What is that I was born for? What is this my purpose in life, and where is this going to lead me? You have to have that love for yourself, and the anger just is it's like a veil. You got to go beyond that.
But why is there anger?
Anger because you have been denying, you've been staying in a state of denial. So that anger comes because so many times we deny the truth, and we tell ourselves lies that, you know, this is, if we are stuck, let's say you're stuck in a relationship, yeah, and you feel that something is not going right. Something is not right. When you invoke Kali, she'll tell you exactly what's not going right. So the anger comes because you look back and you see the humiliation that you had faced, and you ask yourself, why did I let myself go through all of that? Because you're suddenly ready to face the truth, and that anger comes for that. And then Kali tells you, no, that happened in your life because you had to go through these karmic clearings. This happens, and then she will take you to many past lives. She will take you to the root of that anger, and from there you will find love, you'll find the release. So that anger is natural because you feel that I that anger comes because you are not being truthful to your soul. That's what you feel. So it's that anger is more of a pain, I would say. Whenever you go through a transformation, the first thing you experience is pain. That is pain, anger.
Uh, I don't know, like, isn't focusing on yourself selfish?
No,
Isn't it
it is
selfish?
not. If you are focusing on yourself, um, for your only thing, okay, I'm focusing this because I want a big car, I want a big house. That's fine to have those. But it should be because I want a big house, because I have to dedicate it to someone. If you dedicate that, mine and I has to go away from there. This is going to be Kali's house. For example, in my house, right? I have that little statue of Ma. And I've told Ma, this house is your house. Whoever you want in this house comes. Whoever you don't want comes, doesn't come. And you know what the best part is? Whoever is not right for my energy, I'm telling you, so many times it's happened. That person cannot enter my house. So every time you do something, even I'm doing my business, even I'm doing everything, I always say the larger goal has to be that this is her, um you're her employee. You're that, it could be a guru, it could be any god that you believe in, it could be someone. For me, it is Kali. So I call myself Kali's employee. She's put me in this place to do this business. I'm going to serve it best I can. She's put me in this place to take care of this house. I'm going to make it as nice as I can. She's put me in this place to wash dishes or cook. It has to be like a prasad. So if you do that, everything that you do, if you do with that surrender, nothing is going to be for yourself, and you won't feel that selfishness. Everything will become a service, and there your energy will expand.
You know, um, so before we go into the stories, because that's actually what I wanted today's podcast to be on. Guys, can you switch on the AC? Both the ones. Okay. So it's just feeling really hot. Okay. So it's very strange. Today is very strange. So before we go into the question of, into the experience. Um okay. Your book also deals with empowerment. That's why I have this question. Uh, I will draw out a structure for you, and I would like you to tell me what you think about it. Okay. Today morning, I saw a video on Instagram where this unintelligent human being, as I think he is, put up a video talking about how uh, it's all the traditions in the world talk about that the woman was made to serve the man. Okay. I thought that the whole thing was very disturbing, but more disturbing than that video was the comments, because there were so many people on saying that, oh, this somebody's finally got it right, this dude's got it right, blah 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 blah. And how the purpose of a woman's life is to add stability to a man's life and nothing else. He actually said that on the video, because it is actually the woman who is supposed to play a role in a man's life of providing strength, support, and stability, and she's been made only for that. And this was drawn from the example of, I don't want to quote which religion or what text. I don't want to quote, because then that will go into controversy. But I thought this was the stupidest thing I heard in my life. Because as an individual, as a person, everybody, I don't need to say anything here. Everybody gets it. I'm sure anybody who's following my channel gets it. Right. Uh, so that's one thing which is there. People like to paint this in such a way that this is service also in such a way. I'm just drawing a structure here that service is great. Service is what you're meant for. And especially this, when it comes to women. And since your book talks about empowerment, that's why I'm bringing this out. On the second hand, there is also a thought, which that's why I said this earlier to you, that this sounds very stupid in my head, is, I don't know, like whenever we do something for ourselves, I have this thought that beyond a point it can go selfish. And whenever we do something for others, it's great because it's selfless. And this is also the perception of society. When somebody is doing business, oh, he's making money, oh, he's greedy. But whenever somebody is serving somebody, oh, he's donated so much money, oh, that's great, clap. So I put the first point, the video I saw, the second point, the triangle, which is this, and now Kali. I'll bring that form into this. Because in my journey of these last 9 days of Navaratri, every stage of, or every form had a reason there. So we have Shaila Putri, which is, Shaila is commitment. Brahmacharani, distractions free, going forward in that commitment. Chandraghanta, removing negative thoughts. Somebody had a different. Kushmanda, Prana Shakti. Skandamata, guiding force. Of course, understood midway you need guidance. Now you have energy, Prana Shakti, you have goal, and you also have free of distractions. Then you have Katyayani, which is the most powerful form of all of these, because it provides absolute power and precision in terms of what you're going to do. And then we have Kalaratri. So in this thing, like in this evolution of form, everything seems to fit into place. And then enters Kalaratri, Kali. So my question is, the structure I gave you, that has never happened. Okay. All right. Things are very off today. Okay. All right.
It's okay.
You were talking about Kali. She's not normal energy.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry for that. That has never happened. Okay.
But when I wrote this book for 5 years, strangest things have happened to me. Now that I have had Kali in my life for so many years, these things mean nothing. These are just signs. Move on from here.
So either my question to you is, I would like you to break the structure First of all, I would like you to address all these 3 points because your book also goes through this. The first is the idea of a woman serving a man. First, if you would like to break it, break it. And the second is selfishness versus selflessness. What is selfishness? What is selflessness? And why should focusing on yourself too much not be selfish? And then if it's not selfish, what is it? And then the third question is, how does Kalaratri come into this sequence? It's a bit heavy, but
Yeah, I mean, just let's take it one by one. Yeah. One, you spoke about women and men. Man and women, we are just energy. The form is just an energy, right? If we understand that, the dimension within us, the masculine and feminine dimension within us, the Shiv and Shakti is already within us. The whole of our spirit is to balance the Shiv and Shakti within us, the masculine and the feminine energy within us. So we all have those two energies are always within us. The feminine energy gives a reason or a direction to the masculine energy within us. Now, if I give you more, let's just say someone has a factory to make pen, normal fountain pens. That is the masculine energy. The masculine energy within you will say, I have one factory, I need two factories, I need three factories. What does the pen do? It helps you write, it helps you write. And then comes your feminine energy, and she will say, I know the pen writes, it's meant for writing, that's the logic part, but the pen also serves as a medium to fulfill people's dreams because they can create dreams, they can write stories out of it, or she will give it a higher purpose. They can write poetry, they can write, express themselves. So it's a tool of self-expression. That balance comes from the feminine energy, which is what was always said, that the Shakti, the feminine dimension, it brings the element of nurturing, of healing, of creation within the masculine dimension, which has been misinterpreted as serving in this society nowadays. What it meant was that the feminine dimension is naturally more empathetic. We need empathy. Everything that the women will do, the dimension within us, the feminine dimension do within us, is guide from a point of view of love. Even if a mother is scolding a child or being, that is coming out of love for that person. I don't want him to waste his time. That is the difference. So I don't agree with the fact that women were only meant to serve, but I also agree with the fact that women are naturally nurturing creatures, and any household where the woman is more spiritually inclined, where she's more spiritually grounded, that will have more stability because she's like a sarthi of that whole chariot. She will give the direction. And if that direction is given with love, we all are in a battlefield in this world, right? Everyone is fighting their own battles. But let's say the Sarthi is full of vengeance when he's putting, oh, I'm going to go ahead and fight this battle. We all are already fighting. But when the woman is given that reins of taking them to the direction, she will go through it fiercely, fearlessly, nurturingly, and with a lot of love. There's a complete difference. It's the same battle, it's the same journey, but that comes with love. So I believe that they are more nurturing. I believe that a family will value if that is important.
if they have a feminine energy, or if they're more spiritually grounded, then they would be able to give a natural direction to the
They are the spearheads of a new world order. They are the spearheads. So I do believe that I do believe that empowerment, true empowerment, is each one of us taking our power back, holding that power. So that's why it's really important when women are given that responsibility of spiritually leading a family ahead. That is a huge honor, in my opinion. That is where I see it that way, because they are capable enough beings. They are the natural leaders. Women are natural leaders. They are, the world has seen them as, the world sees that they are meant to do service, they are meant to take care. That is a very degraded, a very um, a very low form of what they are capable of. In true sense, they are leaders. They are natural managers, and that's what it was meant for them to do. They meant, when it was said that they are supposed to manage the household, it didn't mean that they have to wash the clothes, do this, do that. It meant that they have to manage the energy of the household, because they are super energetic beings. They have been given the ability to create a new human being. What more do you want? Embed the natural, the spiritual, the emotional, manage all of that within a new embrace. So I do see them as the, not the partner, not those who are just serving in the household. I see them as leaders of a household. So that was the answer to the first one. What was the second question? I forgot.
When you said women are going to be the natural leaders of the new era, but why do you think um, why do you think that they would be leaders of the new world?
Because the age of Kali is coming. Because we just don't need wars. We need wars with a purpose. And that battle has to be first be fought within. And also because there has to be love. Everything has to come from a point of view of love and empathy, tolerance. And that is the energy of women. That has to come. You will see the change. The shift is going to come very gradually, but the age of Kali is coming. Even the men who are going to be leaders, they will have the feminine dimension within them, will be stronger than the masculine. And that doesn't mean that they'll be more women like in their actions. It just means that they'll be they will have more empathy, they will have more love, they will have a more larger vision of the spiritual vision of the reason why they're doing certain things. So the spiritual vision is going to be more stronger in the world in the coming days. And that is the energy of Kali. That is the energy of women. So that's why women are going to lead the world to a new era. Otherwise, it's going to go all destructions.
So essentially, if you're saying that we are moving towards a matriarchal society, I would first like to say that a historian who came on the show previously, he said that most of the cultures of the past, there have been proofs that a lot of these cultures were matriarchal. And somewhere around 4 to 5,000 years ago, we shifted to a patriarchal society. In fact, before that, it used to be matriarchal. So if now we are moving towards a matriarchal society, is what you're suggesting. Uh, in a matriarchal society, or where, let's consider a society where women are more number of women are leaders, like the percentage of leaders, when you keep it gender wise, women are more in leadership and men are less. Or even, or from the perspective where feminism, not feminism, that's femininity is femininity, that aspect of consciousness, femininity aspect of the mind is leading, is what you're saying. What would be different?
One, we would have more stronger, emotionally stronger individuals will lead the world. Um, the younger generation that is going to come, there's going to be more focus on how to build a stronger younger generation also, and it's going to be more spiritually led. They are going to be there is going to be more wisdom. There is going to be an expansion in knowledge, wisdom, learning. Creativity is going to expand. Art is going to expand, because that is the natural energy of a woman. She will bring art and beauty and culture. Culture is going to be respected. There is going to be more tolerance. There's going to be acceptance that um, there is beauty in differences, and all that soft skills that are missing in this creation, that's going to come. So it's almost like at the minute we have a lovely painting, but it's missing the depth. The colors are there, but the depth is missing. So we're going to see there is more depth behind the reasons that things are going to happen. So there is going to be more depth in conversations also. The shallowness is going to go away. The way we are now, how am I looking? I'm just going to make this 15 minutes reel. I'm going to get famous. That is going to go away. And there's going to be more wisdom, more depth of understanding, dialogue. In ancient times, we had a lot of dialogues, spiritual dialogues were there between men, women. There was no kind of demarcation, each one respecting each other because of their spiritual knowledge. And I think that's going to return and that will come. That is the age we are leading to. It's going to be a beautiful golden era that we are going to enter. And which is
That
why
is
Kali is
beautiful.
now very prevalent.
So essentially, you're saying that the feminine qualities would be seen more commonly in society. Now, masculine qualities are looked up to and present more logically. You have to be logical, dominating, powerful, move forward. Now you are going to have more feminine qualities in a in that kind of a society.
Put it also this way, we are seeing so much advancement in technology and AI and whatever. I see an age where we're going to go so deep within ourselves that we're going to develop our own inner AI, which was already developed beforehand. People used to have those mind to mind connections, they would have psychic connections. I think that's going to become more stronger in the world. That's going to come because nobody is going to depend on the outer technology anymore because everything is so fake. So they're going to learn to go back in within themselves to find out the true and reality and untap their potential, their own spiritual potential. So I think all of that is going to come back.
Do you I mean, it's something that I wonder about, but what are your thoughts on that thing that you mentioned, which is some people are mentalist who claim to have the powers where they can look into somebody else's mind. And then there are these theories also in Hinduism where they say that there used to be, in Satya Yuga, people could just they could interact with each other through the mind. But scientifically, of course, it doesn't have an evidence as of now. So I'm neutral about it because I don't know if it's true or not, but what are your thoughts on that?
I think it was very much possible to manifest things. They had the ability to move from their own form from one place to another without having to travel through any medium or whatever, only because they were so spiritually potent in their knowledge. And we don't even know 1% of our spiritual capabilities. Do you know that? We have absolutely no idea the depths of spirituality and the energy that we have within us. I mean, if you start reading the text, the Upanishads, even if you understand one particular text and you go deep within it, you will find, my God, the esoteric meaning behind these stories, the depth of wisdom behind that one particular verse is so deep that how much did they know? What all did they know? We are no one to claim that it can't happen because we haven't really done it. We haven't even tested it. So let's go through our own experience. And I do believe in the mind to mind thing. I have experiences this completely. There was, I mean, I'll just give you an example of what happened about 3 days back. My sister who's in India. It was late night in India, and I just had this urge to text her right now. I literally heard someone say me in my ears, and I'm in the UK, so it was about 7 p.m. here. And I was like, well, this is too late for her. Why do I have this feeling someone's asking me to call her right now? And I avoided it. But then that became stronger, and that voice kept getting stronger. Call her right now. So I texted her. I said, are you awake? Just left it. I was like, whatever it is. And she texted me right back, I'm in the hospital. My husband just had a heart attack. And she was thinking of me right then. She was thinking, oh, I just need to speak to her. But, you know, that vibration caught me while I was here. So things like this are very much there. We just have to be able to understand the subtle vibrations that are around us because we are energy beings. We keep forgetting that. We keep thinking of ourselves as body, and that is the biggest myth and illusion and ignorance that we live in.
Actually, I mean, every person in their life would have experienced it at some point. And there are hundreds and millions and billions of these stories of having that moment where you just looked at somebody and they look back and you had a thought and the other person caught it. Or two brother and sister sitting and they look at each other at the same time. This thing is so common. In fact, I saw a lot of these popular conspiracy theories also, that we used to say that these most of these apps on our phones, if we say the same word around Amazon long enough, that bag that we wanted starts showing up. But I even saw a lot of conspiracy theories. I'll put this up in the description, where they said that now they're saying that they can even capture thoughts, that if you think about something for long enough, strangely it shows up on Instagram feed. I don't know to what extent. It's just a conspiracy theory. I'm not claiming it to be true. But
I was driving once, and I had just met someone. It had been a conference, and somehow this person had been, though we had not spoken, but something was making me very uneasy about this one particular person. And I was like, what was this about this person that's just making me so uneasy? And I was driving back from the conference, and I had the most bizarre experience because I was driving, and suddenly I saw one of my past lives with this person. I literally just came like this, like a flash. And I was like, instantly, oh, now I recognize this thing. Now I recognize why there was this feeling. And the uneasiness that I'd been feeling because the conference had to move on another day completely vanished away, because the route was shown to me, that this was the reason why it has come to you. So that once I saw the route, and it just came like a flash. I was still driving, and I parked the car on the right. I was like, okay. But for me, in my case, I've always been a believer. I'm a born believer. I don't know, it must be some past life thing that had happened to me. I've been born with that faith that something beyond what we see is existing. The world is not what we see. The world is also what we can't see. And I believe in that world more than I believe in this world. I was born with that faith. I have lived with that faith. And over the years, that faith has grown so much that now, now I just see it. Now I see it so clearly, how much we live in an illusion, and what the truth is. So when that incident happened, I didn't panic. I didn't think, what was that? I was like, okay, thank you for showing me the reason. Now I know. Now I know. And I was at peace. So, these are the subtle vibrations that you have to pick up in your journey.
so we'll go back to the second question, which was, selflessness is adored in society. It's adored. Anybody who's being selfless, we see it as a symbol of honor for that person. When somebody donates, when somebody helps somebody else, when somebody goes out of their way and does something for somebody else, it's adored in society. But focusing on oneself and sometimes saying no, like I'm being very, very, not blunt, but I'm being very clear in stating it. So saying no to somebody, sorry, I can't do this. I have to work on myself. I cannot miss my sadhana. Sorry, I cannot. I cannot wish you happy birthday at 12. Just giving you a very silly example, but I cannot do this for you because I have to do this. I have to meet my goal. I'm sorry, I have to say no to you because I have to work on myself. I have to work on my practice, music practice, or whatever, my business or goals. So selflessness is adored in society. But focusing on oneself is seen, looked down upon. Actually. Even though we appreciate it, but deep down, we are looking down on it. But then deeper down, we appreciate it. It's very strange. So, what do you think along those lines?
Um, the most important thing is your intention. You can do immense amount of daan, but if your intention is to show people, if you're just clicking the phone and taking a selfie and saying, look, I have given this to someone, it's gone. All is waste. Selflessness and selfishness is here. It's here. And if your task, if everything that you do in life, if you are dedicating, surrendering it to whoever you believe in, in my case, I believe I am Kali or Shiv or whatever energies it is. I call her I'm very, very, Swami Vivekananda is, I see him as my guru and Kali. So I just say, okay, you put me in this task. I'm your employee. I'm here because you have put me in this position. You have given me this capability to do this task. I'm doing this because if this is your business and I'm your employee, I have to do the best thing. But if that is the way you would do everything in life, nothing is selfish. But if even if I'm helping a friend fix, let's say, she needs help to be picked from somewhere, a small task like this, that she's just called me, can you come and pick me? I'm like, okay, okay, I'll come. But in my heart, even the smallest thought came, ah, I'll pick her so she knows, and she'll tell these people that I'm a good person, and maybe I need her. Then she'll help me back. Then that act has got no value. So that thought, that subtle thought in our mind is important. Even if I say to her, sorry, I can't come now because I'm doing this. But if there is anything else I can do for you, I'll do. And that is said with complete honesty and truth. That will have more value than saying yes and being like, oh my God, she's calling me again. But she better she better help me next time when I have to call her. That has got no value. So it's the thought that you have, the intention that you have, that makes it selfish or selfless. If you are doing anything, whatever you are doing, out of complete love, out of complete devotion to surrendering that task to your higher self, then it is selfless. But whatever you're doing just for the sake of doing is selfish. Stay away from it. I would say. Even if you're cooking, I would say a simple act is cooking food for your family. Yeah, you're cooking food and like, oh my God, why do you have to cook food every day? That food will have no. It will have nutritional value, but it will have no spiritual value in it. There will be no, whatever energy is going there is your frustration is going there. And that is a selfish act. It's not like, oh my God, today I made some yummy food. It's not a selfless act. It's a selfish